This topic is submittals, samples, and shop drawings. This topic discusses about the use of submittals, samples, and shop drawings in the construction process. The objectives of this topic are to introduce the following: purpose of submittals in the construction process, type of submittals used in the construction process, information expected in submittals, submittal process, use of procurement schedule to control submittals to meet the construction schedule, and use of submittals during the construction process. Introduction. Uh, the submittals actually they include three things: shop drawings, materials, data, and samples. So this process, that is the submittal process, is very important as it directly relates to the quality schedule and ultimately the overall success of the project. So next slide. Types of submittals. So in the types of submittals, first thing is the product data submittal. So it consists of the manufacturer's product information. So the information which is included is the manufacturer, trade name, and model number. With this information is necessary to compare the submitted item with the specified products and acceptable products listed in the specification and addenda. The second information is the which is included in the product data submittal is the use and performance characteristics. So the information should be furnished describing the normal use and expected performance of the product. Both the architect and the contractor should review this information to confirm that the product is appropriate for the intended use. Size and physical characteristics. The size and physical characteristics such as adjustment capabilities should be reviewed by both the contractor and the architect. The contractor has the most available information for comparing the adjoining materials and equipment. The contractor also needs to know the size and weight of the equipment for lifting and handling considerations. Finish characteristics. So the architect should review the available finishes and select the appropriate finish. If the finish was not previously specified in the documents, the contractor should confirm that finish requirements in the specification are being met by the product. And the specific request for job site dimensions. Some material is custom fabricated to job conditions, requiring dimensions from the job site. These job site dimensions are provided by the contractor prior to the release of the product for manufacture. Okay, next let's talk about the shop drawings. The shop drawings are the drawings which are produced generally by the contractor and other parties such as the suppliers, manufacturers, subcontractors, or fabricators. So you can see that the shop drawings are not those drawings which are produced by the architects and the engineers. Those are the construction drawings. Okay, and they do these drawings such as the architects under their contract with the owner. So the shop drawings normally show more detail than the construction documents. It is drawn to explain the fabrication of the items to the manufacturer's production crew. So the primary emphasis of the shop drawings is on the particular product or installation and excludes notation concerning other products and installations unless integration with the subject product is necessary. As an example, concrete reinforcing is one of the primary items requiring specialized shop drawings for the fabrication of the materials. So the reinforcing bars are cut to length and bent to specific configurations. The shop drawing and the accompanying cut sheet list the quantity, sizes, lengths, and shapes of the reinforcing bar. So each supplier or manufacturer will have specific information that should be included on shop drawings. So which kind of information is included in the shop drawings? For example, this information consists of the comparison information, notes of changes or alterations, information needed for fabrication, dimensions needed for job site verification, placements or installation information, and samples. As far as the comparison information is concerned, it is the information for the architect and engineers. The shop drawings should include information for the architect and engineer to compare to the specifications and drawings. Notes for changes or alterations from the construction documents are concerned with the changes or differences from the original documents, and these notes should be made on the shop drawings for the architects and engineers approval. Ultimately, they are responsible for changes in these drawings and should have the opportunity to analyze any modifications. So a dialogue should occur between the fabricator and the architect and engineer about any areas needing clarifications. The information needed for fabrication, information needed to fabricate the product, dimensions, manufacturing conventions, and special fabrication instructions should be included on the shop drawings. It should be clear to fabrication personnel what will be manufactured from the shop drawings alone. The indication of dimensions needing verification from the job site. Most job site dimensions, such as the dimensions between the two surfaces on the job site, need to be verified. A dimension may be shown on the construction drawings, but the actual dimension may vary from very small to large increments depending on job site conditions. So it is extremely important that the fabricated item arrive on the job site ready to be installed without field modifications. Placement or installation information. Some fabricators and manufacturers will provide symbols, data, or instructions concerning installation. This can include a list of other materials such as fasteners or adhesives appropriate to but not included for the product. So this is some information which is needed for the placement or installation. The topic of samples will be described later in a little bit detail. So some fabrications require a sample submittal with the shop drawings, primarily for color and texture selection of finishes. So we will discuss more about the samples in the next slide. So the samples are actually they can be physical portion of the specified product. Some samples are full product samples, such as a brick or a section of precast concrete, or a partial sample that indicates color or texture. The product sample is often required when several products are acceptable to confirm the quality and aesthetic level of the material. So the samples usually are required to finish for finish selection or approval. Color and texture in the actual product can vary considerably from the color and texture shown in the printed material. So the printed brochures gives an indication of the available colors, but the colors are rendered in printer's ink rather than in actual material. So a quality level may be specified requiring a selection of color and or texture from sample pieces of the material. Several acceptable manufacturers may be listed in the specification, and a level of quality also may be specified. The contractor, subcontractor, or supplier may have a preference for one of these products based on the price, availability, quality, workability, or service. So samples are usually stored at the job site and compared to the material delivered and installed. So confirmation of the correct material on the job site prior to the installation of the product avoids costly delays. So comparison of samples with the product received is an important part of the project quality control. Okay, so now let's discuss some requirements for submittals, shop drawings, and samples. So the construction documents usually indicate which product data, submittals, shop drawings, and samples are required by the architect for a particular project. The contractor can require these in purchase orders and subcontract agreements, whether or not they are specified in the construction documents. So submittals, shop drawings, and samples are used by the contractor and the architect as a reference for monitoring quality control. So the general conditions of the contract require product data, submittals, shop drawings, and samples. So once the shop drawings and samples are submitted, these need to be reviewed. So the review of submittals, shop drawings, and samples. So it is a very important process. Definite processing lines are required by most projects for approval of all submittals, shop drawings, and samples. So the procedures can seem very cumbersome and time consuming. However, there are substantial reasons for review steps by all parties. So the designer is ultimately responsible for the design of the facility to meet occupancy needs and must ensure that the products being installed are suitable to meet the need. Any changes in material or fabrication needs to be reviewed for its acceptability with the original design. The submittal process for shop drawings or samples is highlighted in figure 4-3. This is one part of the figure 4-3. Actually, this figure is a flow chart, but due to the length of this flow chart, it is not completely shown in one slide, and it has been completed in the next slide. Okay, so this flow chart starts from the this is the submittal process in construction. So this flowchart starts from the contractor issues the subcontracts and purchase orders, and then it finishes off here at this decision level. Does the submittal need contract requirements? If yes, then it is approved, or if it is no, then it has to be resubmitted. And then at every step there are certain decisions that need to be taken, and that needs to be taken by either the contractor or the architect or the owner's representative. So I would recommend that you may read this flow chart in some depth to understand the full process in some more details. So we will continue the remainder of this lecture in the next video clip.